This scenic Yorkshire farm is the perfect family day out. However, it's not just your average petting zoo, as amongst the traditional farmyard livestock, not so traditional ones too, lies a hidden exotic oasis home to many fascinating creatures from all over the globe. I felt right at home amongst the aquariums, terrariums and paludariums, so I knew I had to share terrariums. So join me in the reptile and mini beast house at Cannon Hall Farm, which houses a diverse range of critters and one of the most unique animal enclosures I've ever encountered. As the name suggests, many reptiles call this place home. Upon entering, I was greeted by a hungry tortoise enjoying a nice salad for its lunch, as well as two green iguanas basking by the window. Like many other ectothermic or cold-blooded creatures, these green iguanas rely on heat from the sun to regulate their body temperature. Although it's not just the heat they need, UVB light is absorbed by their skin, which enables the production of vitamin D3, a crucial nutrient involved in calcium absorption. There's tons of terrestrial enclosures, spotting many types of lizards, snakes and frogs, most of which seem to be excellent players at hide and seek. Of the ones which were visible, here are a few of my favourites. The Sudan plated lizard had a very chill and relaxed demeanour. Its enclosure was dry and arid, replicating its natural habitat in Africa. This common boa was right out in the open and had settled at the closest possible point to the light bulb in order to extract as much heat as possible. Its cousin the corn snake took a different and much more stealthy approach. It was almost out of sight, camouflaged by the leaves of the forest floor. This Chinese water dragon was very confident. It looked me up and down and thoroughly checked me out before scuttling away. Its enclosure was significantly larger than some of the other similar sized lizards. Like, look at the difference compared to this bearded dragon. I have to admit, I was quite disappointed all my searches for the frogs and toads were unsuccessful. I would have loved to have caught a glimpse of the fire-bellied toads, but I guess it's a testament to the quality of the enclosures and the ability of the frogs to remain out of sight. Whilst impressed overall with the quality of the enclosures, I did find the lack of plant variety a little bit surprising, but I was rather impressed by the mass use of pothos and its effectiveness at transforming wooden rocks into mini jungles. It's the same plant that I use and grow out the top of my aquariums, so if in the future I ever decide to move away from fish for a little bit and have a go at scaping without the water, I'll be sure to make good use of the pothos. We'll move a little bit closer to my domain now and take a look at the aquatic enclosures, starting off with a fairly common pet, the musk turtle. Popular due to their small size, these cute little turtles are predominantly aquatic and spend most of their time submerged in the water. However, they will occasionally breach land to bask and also lay eggs. What do you think? Wow, that's cool.
Hello?
Yeah?
Hello?
Hello? Hello. These little things are so adorable and their faces seem to smile, which I find infectious. The tiny musk turtles are dwarfed in comparison to the smooth, soft-shelled turtle, and their body types couldn't be more different. This shell is much thinner and flatter, and they have a very long neck, which serves two main functions. The first is catching prey. These turtles are mostly carnivorous, feasting on insects, fish, crustaceans and amphibians. Their long necks can strike out extremely quickly at unexpected prey whilst their bodies remain hidden, as well as helping them get into hard to reach crevices for tasty snacks. The other function is for breathing. The long neck, in combination with the snorkel-like snout, allows them to take a well-needed breath of air without leaving the water, helping them avoid detection from predators like crocs, raccoons and birds of prey. This Lake Malawi Cichlid tank couldn't be further from my personal aquarium style. Firstly, it's huge, many times larger than even my biggest tank. But for good reason. The Mabunas are pretty chunky and very large, they could probably easily swallow any of my no-no fish. It might look like it's a little bit overcrowded in there, but that's deliberate. A stocking is kept high to reduce aggression and fighting, preventing fish being singled out and picked on. There aren't any live plants in this tank, just the rocks and the sand, but for good reason. These fish mainly eat algae and vegetation, as well as small invertebrates and crustaceans. So if plants were included, if they weren't eaten, they'd definitely be dug up and uprooted, especially when these fish start to spawn, as they like to lay their eggs in little nests they dig out. It appears to have been quite successful, as I did spot a couple of little babies hiding deep within the rockwork. They're super cute, but rightfully a little bit cautious. They knew not to venture far from the safety of the rocks. Despite the stark differences between this tank and my own aquariums, I really love it. The fish are so interesting to watch and they're really brightly and beautifully coloured. Bizarrely, there was also one singular clown loach and it was huge. I really thought it ought to have some friends of its own kind, but maybe it was a rescue. The other aquarium really wasn't much to look at. Another rock-only tank with a small group of golden barbs and scissor-tail raspora. Both of these species are schooling fish, therefore they'd really benefit by being in greater numbers. This would make them feel more safe and secure, enabling them to act more naturally. In my opinion, this tank would be improved massively by just the addition of a few easy low-light plants, maybe some anubias on the rocks, and some stems or vallisneria in the back. I really think it'd transform this tank for the better. I've saved the best until last, and this truly is the highlight in my opinion. I found it so fascinating, I had to share it, so it's partly the reason for making this video. I usually wouldn't get so excited over ants, but no matter where you are in this room, you're only an arm's length away from thousands of these dedicated hard workers. I was so enthralled by them, I forgot to read the sign to see what species they are, but I think they're leafcutter ants for obvious reasons. Their enclosure starts with the nest. A huge cube of dirt with God knows how many interconnected tunnels and chambers. There were multiple entrances with a constant flow of ants leaving and returning. The ants then climb up this high vertical branch and begin their long journey. After completing an entire loop of the large room, clambering along ropes and branches, they finally reach their destination, a huge pile of leaves. They then use their strong jaws to bite and cut off a section of the leaf to carry. These ants are insanely strong, they can carry up to 50 times their own body weight. Just imagine it, that would be like me picking up a car before going on a long hike with it on my back. Absolutely mind-boggling. They don't dilly-dally, these creatures are so focused on the task at hand, so it's straight back up the branch, back along the long ropes and to the nest. To my surprise, the leaves aren't for eating, they're actually used deep within the nest to culture and grow fungus, which is the primary food source for these ants. So not only are they brilliant scavengers, but excellent farmers too. I find it so amazing how they work well together and so efficiently as a colony. Us humans could really learn a thing or two from these tiny little creatures. There's so much more to see and do at Cannon Hall Farm, especially for children, so if you're local, it's certainly worth a visit in my opinion. But thank you for watching, I really hope you enjoyed. Have a lovely day everyone, and hopefully I'll see you later fish friends.